Welcome back to another episode of the Spiritual Business Blueprint. Hi, I'm Tracey-Ann Rose, and I help spiritual high-achieving women of color break through income ceilings by tapping into their intuition without burning down their business. I have the honor today of interviewing the lovely Kari Samuels, and I'm just going to start with her bio in case you're not already familiar. Kari Samuels is an intuitive counselor, astrologer, and happiness coach who has helped thousands of people, including me, find clarity and inspiration through astrology, numerology, and intuitive insight. She's the host of the podcast Get Psyched with Kari Samuels and shares popular monthly astrology forecasts on YouTube. Kari is known for translating mystical wisdom into practical tools for magical living that help people navigate life with greater purpose and joy. Kari, so happy to have you here.
Nice to be with your beautiful self.
Oh, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad you're doing this.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I wouldn't be doing any of this if it weren't for you.
I can only take a tiny, teeny sliver. I
Okay.
will not. I mean, I'm only too accepting, gratitude, but for this is all you. This is all you.
Thank you. For those of you who are new to the podcast, Kari Samuels is actually the reason why I started coaching. I didn't think it was a job before. What? So I joined B school under Kari, and which was like the only way I would ever have joined a business program at that point in my life.
Same.
When I spoke to Kari, she was like, why don't you just talk? And I was like, no, like, that's not a job. She's like, you're a coach. You're a natural born coach. I was like, no, that's not real. But I listened. And of course,
What's you?
I got booked out pretty quickly and started building my community. And, here I am 6 years later. Oh my gosh.
That's
what
incredible.
a journey.
That just gave me angel bumps. Even though we're having a heat wave here in Portland, Oregon, I just got the angel bumps. That's amazing. Congratulations. That's so exciting.
And thank you. Thank you. And oh my gosh, Kari, there's so many delightful things that I want to get into with you. Shall we just dive into astrology right off the bat?
Ask me anything. Oh, yes, of course. One of my many favorite topics. I love talking about all things divine.
Can we dive into this? I mean, I know it's an entire 20-year cycle, Pluto in Aquarius.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fascinated, partially from my own, I have a midheaven and north node in Aquarius, so it's fascinating to me, but also just because I know this is a time of collective awakening and collective uprising. And to me, we need this more than ever right now.
Yeah. And sometimes I thank heavens we have Pluto in Aquarius. And I want to remind people, okay, so let's talk about what Pluto is, what Aquarius is. So Pluto is the planet. Aquarius, this is the sign. Pluto is a generational planet. It is around 20-year cycle per sign. And also it takes 250-ish years, 248 years to go around the sun. And of course, America just finished its Pluto return, which we can also talk about because America's a hard place to be right now. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. Can we? I can't wait to dive in on that.
And Pluto is the lord of the underworld, and it feels like a hell realm.
It is. I honestly thought about turning on the fireplace behind me to be like, it's a live stream, you guys. It's happening right now. This is where we're at.
I mean, I want to start. You asked about Pluto, so how can you not talk about shadow and the dark? So and this is what Pluto does. Pluto brings up stuff that you haven't been dealing with. Pluto brings up the shadow. Pluto brings up things that have been tucked away because they've been too difficult. You're in a collective. You've been ignoring in your psyche. Maybe things are too difficult. We tuck away a lot of stuff, right? We tuck away our gifts if we're not ready to share them. And we tuck away the stuff that we don't like about being human because it's hard.
Our sense of self even.
Yeah, everything. So there's a lot in the shadow. And Pluto is the great transformer. And Pluto comes along and says, you have to deal with the shadow. So I am going to resurrect things. The tarot card Judgment is associated with Pluto. And if you look at that card, there's all these like dead bodies rising from the grave.
Whoa, that's very interesting.
And like Archangel Gabriel's trumpet, like, waking them up, which is the voice and expression and consciousness. And so Pluto is necessary to help heal the things that we don't want to deal with. And Aquarius is all about the collective, people, individuality. Like Aquarius is very seemingly paradoxical, but it makes sense because it's all about the unique individual self being like letting your freak flag fly and being different, having the courage to be different. And by that it's also about groups and the collective greater good and progress, moving things forward. And so it seems paradoxical in that sense that it's about the individual being different and about groups. But we know diversity is our strength. We know that you and I both share a story about like we didn't fit into the paradigms, right?
No.
And so we're like, I'm going to find my way. And that's where the magic is. It's like, well, you are different, and that's good because that means that you have a unique voice, a unique vision, a unique gift, a unique magic. And so that's very Aquarian, and Aquarius moves you forward. Aquarius in the tarot is associated with the star card. And in the tarot, the star card is naked, this woman naked, pouring healing waters. And it's that sense of like, we don't see the light from a star until many millions of years later, but that light is there showing us the way. And so it's visionary in that respect. So Pluto changed signs. It started in 2023 to like sort of like dipping into Aquarius and then kept going back into Capricorn and dipping into Aquarius. And as soon as it started into Aquarius, we got AI coming into our consciousness, which is a shadowy thing to begin with. I mean, in some ways,
it's fascinating. Right? It's so fascinating. I can't look away.
Yeah. I mean, like, it can be helpful for humanity in doses, but like, do we really need to be making AI slop? Or do you really need to be we need to use all of things. So Aquarius is also associated with technology. So anytime Pluto in Aquarius comes along, we have a revolution in technology, the Industrial Revolution. But we also have revolutions of humans because Capricorn, the sign preceding it, is all about authority, kind of like patriarchy, right? It's like the old man of the zodiac
structures often, there's a ladder to climb rather than just blazing your own trail.
Exactly. It's like it could be conservative. It's very conforming in some ways. And it's about like economy and structure and government and like big group organizations that have authority involved in that. And of course, for 20 years, we were definitely seeing the shadow of that. And then Pluto goes into Capricorn and we have this industrial revolution, but we're also realizing like, hey, those Capricornian like structures were not serving people. We are being used.
Yes.
And we are being exploited and there's no equity and we're destroying the planet and this isn't good. So Pluto in Aquarius also brings human revolution. The French Revolution, the American Revolution. Yeah, social revolution. And so I want to remind people that when Pluto, first of all, it's a 20-year cycle. And when it first goes into a sign, you see more of the shadow. And that's what
that makes a lot of sense.
However, we are seeing like group revolutions. Like we see student uprisings that like change whole governments that have been happening in Asia. And we see a lot of group protests and group revolutions. And I think one of the things people are going to realize is that to me, this is what sums up Pluto and Aquarius is like, how can just me make a difference in the world, said 8 billion people.
That's perfect.
You get what I'm saying with that one? So it's like
100%.
There's power in our spending. There's power in where we put our money. There's power in boycotts. There's power in, so we're going to see a lot of group power and also like groups coming together to, like, for me personally, like, I'll look on Amazon to see like reviews, but I'm not buying on Amazon. I go straight to the company or I go straight to somewhere local that's doing it.
That
So
makes
I think there's
sense.
like a return to like the community, local coalitions coming together, mutual aid. So there's this, that's very Pluto and Aquarius, and it comes from the shadow because, I mean, truthfully, we're also exhausted from late stage capitalism.
It's true.
Because of the Pluto and Cap. Yeah, that we needed, like, it's like it had to be so shadowy for people to make a change and sacrifice and do things. But, you know, that's where we are.
And admit that something was wrong. Because I remember like pre-2020, people were still operating on like, racism is done. And it's like, you know.
Yeah, as a woman of color,
I differ. I strongly differ.
Yeah.
I don't even beg to differ. I strongly differ.
Yeah,
and so it was
absolutely
for everyone to start to see, oh, wait a second. These things that we thought were taken care of, these things that we thought were resolved are actually just bubbling underneath the surface in more and more insidious and covert ways where people are now starting to recognize.
We're not covert anymore.
No. And that's also eerily troubling in its own way, to see things so overt nowadays, with how some of the more, I mean, I don't have another word, Kari. I don't know if you have a good one, but like it's honestly like hateful, some of the actions and behaviors that are taking place. Do you have a better word for what I'm describing?
I mean, I think it's evil, actually. It's hateful, cruel, evil, some of the stuff going on. And this is what Pluto in Aquarius has shown, and Capricorn has shown us, is like racism never went away.
No.
And the fact that people are so blatant about it now is very Plutonian, because it's like, wow, we are bringing this out into the open. It is so blatant now. It is. So how can you ignore it? And so what's happened is, thankfully, there have been non-marginalized groups that have been allies and joining forces, and that is very Pluto and Aquarius, and that's how we're going to change. And this is why I say I thank heavens for Pluto and Aquarius every day, because when I look at some of the terrible things happening right now, I know that it's part of the process of healing.
Yes.
And I do have faith that we will heal and recognize that, again, those Aquarian themes, that like our differences, our unique way that we came into the world is what's beautiful. And I really feel that will happen, even though this is a slow and painful process. But Pluto is painful.
Yeah. So when you mentioned the Judgment card with all the dead bodies, so this is something that I haven't said on the podcast, but this is something that I'll say to people when I'm just talking to them about the United States energy, like its own energy as like a country, as an entity, is that I feel like, I mean, we're in the midst of a reckoning. There's so many people who have died and been exploited to create this. I don't even know what we're calling it right now, but to create this country and to create this horrific system. And I feel that all the things that are arising right now to show us, hey, like this is all built on the backs of people who were never paid, who are still bleeding, who are struggling. How can we in some way make this right? And like you were saying, like investing in our communities with energy and money and really building something that's actually sustainable and healing. Is there anything that you would recommend to somebody who's feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is so overwhelming, but I want to do a small act to make the world a better place?
Well, that's a very important question because you have, and this gives me angel bumps too. You have a soul's calling to be a coach. I have a soul's calling to do intuitive work, but there's some people that have a calling to help out in their community in that way. And this is mostly how I help out. I give to a lot of charities, and this is also like if you're doing one-on-one healing with people too, that is our calling, right? But maybe you have a calling, let's say you're a guitar teacher, right? And that's your passion. And you get to be one-on-one with people and you get to heal them that way. I think it's very important that there used to be this bumper sticker like think globally, act locally.
I remember that. Yeah.
So it's like, how do you, it is impossible to try to change everything at once, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
focus on where you like to help. Focus on the way you can help individuals. Like if you're healing generational trauma, that's going to help heal the collective. Right?
And I always,
if you're
absolutely.
empowering, if you're empowering women to do good in business so that we have power, that's power. That's power. That's part of what changes the collective, is by helping people one at a time. So maybe you have a neighbor that needs some help in some ways. If you're helping one person one at a time, maybe in groups at a time, however you do it, but like do what is comfortable for you, but maybe uncomfortable in that sense of like, ooh, can I do it? But like, where do you feel you can help the most? And it's okay to feel helpless and overwhelmed because the world is, in a dumpster fire, right?
And it's built to be overwhelming. It's built to keep us in a state of like, what's happening?
Yeah. And that's why it's also important to regulate your nervous system. And joy is also part of the resistance. Like joy is so important because really oppressive systems are here to destroy your sense of joy or purpose. And so anytime you are living in joy, laughing, I know there's always that part of yourself like, how can I be laughing during this terrible time or situation, or how can I be? But that is important. That is important. So having joy, cultivating joy, doing things that make you feel good is not a selfish act, because it is from your cup overflowing that you have the capacity to uplift the spirits of everyone around you and help them live their purpose. And so it's like, how do you cultivate joy in yourself? How do you regulate your nervous system? And then help in the ways that are joyful for you, where that's going to show you where your purpose is. And by living your purpose, you're empowering people one person at a time. And that's how we heal. That's how we heal.
I love that. And that's also what I strongly believe. If we are in our own bodies, living our own truth, we are not as easily swayed by the stressors of the outside world. We're not as easily distracted, and we're actually able to do something about it rather than feel, like you said, like helpless and overstimulated. I'm very curious because a lot of people, I use numerology with all of my clients. I am always like, get Kari Samuels' personal numerology blueprint. So
I
you know
love
what's
that.
happening in your life. Oh my gosh, yeah. My husband has one. It's like,
I
and we're
love it.
like comparing like what are good dates to travel.
I love it.
So, but not a lot of people I've noticed know a lot about numerology.
Yeah,
Can we give them a little taste of, and I
sure.
know we're halfway through the year, but can we give them a little taste of what this year will exemplify in terms of numerological energy?
So 2026. Um, well, it's interesting. We were just talking about Pluto and Aquarius because 2026 in numerology is a one universal year. So we get that by adding 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6, which equals 10. And then 1 plus 0, because we reduce to a single number unless it's a master number, 11, 22, 33, 44. And so 1 is about believing in yourself, standing up for yourself, celebrating your unique way of doing things, making yourself your number one priority, which is hard for an empath.
Yes.
So the 1 teaches you to individuate. The 1 teaches you about individuality. 1 is also doing something that's never been done before. It doesn't mean that you need to invent the wheel. It just means that if you're like looking around and saying, well, I want to do this, but I don't know anyone who's doing it, or like, I don't know, that means you're meant to do it. That means you're
Yeah.
meant to do it. And the way to know is if you have a divine download, which means like that thought that doesn't go away, like that image in your mind that keeps coming back to you. That is a divine download. That feeling, that inner nudge that says like, oh, you should do this. And especially, if it is something joyful or something creative, that is guiding you toward your purpose.
I
And
got chills when you said that. Yeah.
yeah. And so the 1 is about those divine downloads. It represents the crown chakra, those ideas that come into your head from divine downloads, and you like just see them and they don't go away. And like they just, this picture that comes back to you over and over again. That's a divine download. And so it's your job to move that from your crown into your throat, expressing yourself, into your heart, saying like, how does this feel to me when I do this? Does this bring me joy? Into your solar plexus, saying, I believe in myself to have the confidence to make this into fruition. And then your solar plexus, then your sacral chakra, which is joy and really feeling into like how this is embodied, and then into the roots of the earth, saying, I'm making this real. So that's what that 1 is. That the 1 is the divine download. The 1 is that seed that's planted. And it's up to you to listen to that seed, that intuition, that image that comes to you, that feeling that comes to you. And also a feeling that could be like, sometimes you may not feel passionate about something right now, and that's also a divine nudge, right? And because we did just finish a 9-year cycle, and last year we had all the planets wrapping up their signs, their time, and now they're all in new signs. And so
Yeah.
every single person on this planet, maybe even animals, are experiencing something that what was once secure, what once felt good, what once lit you up is no longer suitable for you. And so this is a time to explore new things, try new terrain, put yourself out there in different ways. And that's what this energy is about.
I loved how you broke down how the intuition travels through the body and grounds into reality. I've noticed for empaths that I've worked with that it usually gets stuck around the throat. It's like, oh, we talk about it and then they struggle to execute and really see, okay, does this feel good in my heart space? Is this where I belong? What would you recommend to somebody who's in the phase where they are expressing, but they're having trouble taking action on that?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is to dare to be different, because that is your purpose. That is your purpose. And that is what Pluto in Aquarius is teaching us, is to respect everybody's unique way in life. And that includes you. That includes you. So when you're making a decision or when you're thinking about what you're going to do or not do, ask yourself, am I doing this or not doing this because of, I'm afraid how other people will respond to me? Like, will they judge me? Will they reject me? Will they abandon me? And that's why it's important to move it into your heart. Bring some love to yourself. Just talk to yourself the way you would talk to a scared child, right? That you know that they'll be safe and good and happy, and it's something that will bring them joy. But bring that into your heart and send love to that part. And then really bring it into your solar plexus in that place. You know, I found in my healing work that a lot of stuff that gets stuck in the throat can be nourished through the solar plexus to give that juice, that energy, that confidence. And when you nourish your solar plexus, it does give you that confidence to be yourself and not have as much energy from other people affect you. So I recommend bringing light from the sun or a star, or simply just imagine any kind of light coming through and then going down into the earth, and then earth energy from the very core, fiery core of the earth coming up through your roots, up into that star, and then meeting at your solar plexus and expanding and filling up your aura. And that will give you that energetic vibrancy to be yourself without fear of other people judging you. And then you can also do a meditation where you're imagining yourself being yourself and expressing yourself in a certain way, and then seeing maybe other people, how you're afraid they're going to react, and then change it in your imagination. Say, okay, now I'm going to bring that light into my being and call in my angels if I need to. And then I'm going to imagine myself feeling comfortable in this situation. So it helps train your neural networks to know that you're safe and protected.
Yes. And I really love that. I do a variation of that sometimes, like a meditation. And I'll have the person notice when they're imagining like the worst case scenario, how their body is contorted or what the posture is. And then notice what your body's posture looks like whenever you are living that higher expression of the situation where things are all going your way. And then I'll tell them, whenever you're in a situation that feels familiar to that, take on that body posture of the situation that you want to occur, not the one that you are fearing. And you can actually embody that energy. It's powerful.
It is powerful. I love that you do that. And that is embodiment. It's like in your body. Like that word is thrown around so much, but your meditation is such a beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm like so many little topics that I'm thinking of. Ooh, I'm just curious, what's something that you're really fired up about? It could be something that you're just interested about having fun with, or you're like, ooh, I need to share my message about this particular topic because I'm hearing a lot of views that maybe aren't expressing it or are missing the mark.
Oh gosh, that is a lot of things. Well,
we'll start with the low-hanging fruit, maybe.
Yeah. The thing that I feel, well, I don't know if you've been with me any amount of time. I'm always very like anti what most people talk about manifestation. To me, it's more about like feeling good in your body and just enjoying life. For me, the thing that I've been focusing on in my life is simplicity and uncomplicating things. Like in 2020, everyone's like, we're never going back to normal and we don't want to anyway. And then I'm like, but you all did.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as you could.
Now. Yeah, like there's so much more consumption. There's more. And I'm like, that's not what this moment feels like it's calling for. This moment feels like it's calling for simplicity. Like, it's sort of like a Marie Kondo thing. Like, you're planning something and it's like, yeah, do I really need to go there? Do I really need to do this? Like, can I just have a more simple pleasure kind of life? Like, maybe take a day where you're just like looking at squirrels and birds and
Oh, that's my
just
favorite.
like have like a have like a do not like where you're doing less and I mean, I just feel like we're so complicated. Like, we
Yeah.
drive to the gym or like we drive and it's like just exercise like around, it's kind of like, how do you scale back from all the little steps that it takes you to do something, right? Vacation used to mean like you just vacate where you live and just go somewhere like in nature and like do nothing. But now it's just the thing. And I feel like have a real vacation where you're just like maybe a staycation or just like close to you, like simple, like where you don't have to like me personally, like I would always be exhausted headed to a vacation and coming back from a vacation. And
Oh
so now
no.
I'm like, I live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. So I'm like, I'm going to like vacation an hour away. You know what I mean? It's like, I just feel like we make everything very drawn out and complicated. So it's like when you're doing something, say like, how can I make this more simple maybe? Or like, do I need this thing that I think that I'm desiring? I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I'm trying to get people away from like consumption so much. Consuming
Yeah.
cultures, consuming things, consuming consuming like energy, like consuming time. Like it's like ask yourself, like, what are you consuming really? Like, is this
Especially
energy I'm
here.
expending? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just be simple. Just like try to simplify things.
I really appreciate that message. That's something that our family is looking at in the future, moving somewhere that feels already like a vacation, a slower pace of life, more community minded, and not so obsessed with the constant, like, well, consumption, of course, but also sort of like these Capricornian ideals where you're like, oh, let me get up that ladder. I gotta make more money. And honestly, I'll share something that's grinding my gears. The coaching industry has been so intense in terms of make more money, do more. Have you, doubled your income from last year? And it's like, "Look, do we need to? Like, why?
Yeah,
Is
like
it just
I love that.
why? Like, are we just trying to put this in our marketing materials? Like, what is the real purpose
Yeah,
behind it? And a lot of what I'm finding when I ask people, more questions about what is driving the behavior, it is image based. It's what other people are going to think of me.
yeah.
And then I think it goes down the line to eventually like, oh, I'm going to be abandoned or exiled if I don't live up to what they think I should be. But ultimately, if we are happy, we don't need that. If we are in a real community, we already feel belonging.
It actually this simplicity came from me expanding my business like to a point where it was exhausting me. And so I did scale, I scaled back a lot of projects and, I needed less support. And like, so it's like, that is, it's almost like multi-level marketing at that point.
Yes, I agree.
When I think you know what I'm talking about. So I I think simplicity in business is super important because bigger is not better. I know from experience.
And how you talked a little bit about how you came to that conclusion. What would you say to someone who now feels the pressure of maintaining an image of success or, they're fearful that people won't respect them? What advice would you give them?
Well, remember, we were talking about like all the exercises to help you not care what other people think about you. And to me, and one of my titles is happiness coach. The key to happiness is to be yourself. And what is that for you? Like, what does it mean to you? To me, like the things that drive me is like having time. And so we're taught that like, oh, you expand your business so you have more time. I actually know a lot of people now who are going back to one-on-one sessions because
Like,
it actually feels more
yeah.
it actually feels more simple than like these programs and the launches. It's just like maybe I just want to work with people directly. So it's like a full circle moment. It's like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the simplicity of simply having a calendar and X amount of sessions. And when you want to do a program because you're truly motivated, because there's something that comes up for everyone that you want to share, that's important, you know? Um, and and so it's like one person's success can be a very Plutonian, not happy process for you. And again, our astrology and our numerology can tell us, and that's why what you're doing, I love what you're doing because it can show you like you're a group person or you're not a group person. You're a one-on-one person. Like having a lot of 11th house is very different than having a lot of 7th house or 10th house or whatever. A lot of Pisces, like you're going to want to do something with that squishy healy energy, but maybe big groups overwhelm you, or maybe like doing a business project like will overwhelm you, but you're really into like the one-on-one healing connection. Like everybody has what drives them. And I I feel like in business and life, the theme, just focus on simplicity. Like what feels right? Like, is it easy for you to make a course right now because you're just overflowing with information? Like, and do it in a simple way. Like maybe like have, like get a pre-made landing page and like just make it easy for yourself instead of like, I need to do this and I need to do this and I need to do this. You actually don't. And then you'll wind up just paying for its own whatever. Like you're paying for the production.
Yes, you're paying for the image, essentially. You're paying to say, like, look, it's so pretty. But it's like, but are you burned
Yeah,
out now? Can you actually serve the people that you were intending to serve?
exactly.
Ah,
It's all very
well,
multi-level marketing. It is very like, there's a lot of people teaching people to do things and that's how, but like, what does everybody, what are you doing?
it's gotten weird. So like I stopped launching this year because I was like, ugh, I don't like it. Like I don't love it. And then the other part that I was noticing is in so many master classes, it's like, I'm gonna tell you about these transformations, but you have to pay to understand how. And it drives me so crazy. It feels like gatekeeping. And it doesn't allow the person to make a conscious decision of, hey, I like this process. This sounds like it'll work for me. Instead, it's like, well, don't you want these results? Do you want to be a millionaire? And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's very, yeah, it has like, sort of like a sticky energy that I don't really care for. So I was just like, I'm not doing them anymore. We'll do one-on-one calls. We'll get to know each other with no sales pressure, and then we'll go from there. And it's been so fulfilling to allow myself that freedom without judgment.
I love that. I love that. And you know what I found is that the more fun and the more joy that you're having when you're creating something is what they'll feel. So if you're feeling stressed and if you're feeling desperate and you're like seeing people as dollar signs, that is not good for you or the other person. When you're coming from a place of like, wow, I really enjoy this. Like, I really enjoy connecting with people. I really enjoy like doing this. Like, that was so inspiring. Like, I feel good, or like, I have a real talent for this. That feels really good for me to like do that because I feel good. Like, there's something in me that I can do that other people aren't as good at, or that like I'm just good at it, whether regardless of other people are good at it. Like, like it
Yeah.
feels good for me. So like that's a place, and that filters through everything you're doing. They talk about like thoughts having things and your energy creating your reality. Well, your energy that you're putting into every single thing you're doing, the more joyful and generous and heartfelt you can be in that process, the more amazing things will happen.
Yes. I'm so curious about how you got started. I feel like we talked about it a little bit in the B School container, but I'm just curious for everyone who's listening here, who's seen your work, and you know, like you were one of the first names that I heard in numerology. Like you really introduced me to numerology, introduced me to working with my archangels. You've had such an impact on my life, but you started somewhere. So would you share, a little bit of that journey?
Sure. Like you, I also have a theater background, and I do believe the creative background is spiritual in nature because you're
Oh,
channeling
100%.
through right brain and you're opening yourself to divine channeling. However, I always was a witchy kid. So as of like as far back as I remember, I was I would just sit there in my room thinking, which is what really was claircognizance, which was like me talking to my guides, but I thought it was just like thinking. And what I would be thinking about is past lives, life between lives, and probable universes. And so I had all these recollections of like the life planning process. And when I was 7, I learned piano and math. And I remember thinking when I was learning music, I was like, oh, I remember this. And so it turns out that Pythagoras, the grandfather, I do a lot of air quotes right now, the grandfather of numerology is maybe because we're in Gemini season. Uh, the grandfather of numerology also did the music of the Spears, and everyone was a vegetarian. I was also a vegetarian at a very young age. And theater and music, and it was a mystery school. And so when I was doing theater, especially Shakespeare, the language, he was very deliberate about the words he used, bringing life to things. And in numerology, one of the things that fascinated me is letters, even more than numbers. Like I love letters. And so I left theater for many of the same reasons you did. And then there was no place for me there either, right? So, who is there a place for, right?
I don't know.
No,
I haven't figured that out yet.
I don't know. And so, and Viola Davis, I read her or listened to her autobiography, and she's an incredible talent. But she's like, most people in my industry are not that talented.
Facts.
It's everything else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The ones that and not to say there aren't super talented people in the industry, but anyway,
right.
So it just wasn't for me. Right. And so I started children's book, the channeling, children's book writing, started with, and then, but I always had a passion for woo-woo things, always. And so I started with astrology, and then it went to hand analysis and then tarot. And I liked it so much, I was just practicing on people. And then like, word spreads, right? And then eventually people are like, how much do you charge? And you have to figure this out. But it was from tarot that I got into numerology, because I learned tarot with numerology. And then I got Mary K. Greer's book on tarot constellations. And she was talking about like life cards and things like that. And so I started out doing like numerology with tarot. Like I'd always start out with numerology, mostly because at the time I was like afraid that I wouldn't have anything to say. And they would give me some, it was sort of mind blowing. So I really started focusing on numerology. But then now I'm just like, I'm like a mystery school too. Like I like to teach all the things. But
it's fun.
It did start organically. It's just been like my life's passion. Like I don't really have a TV now. I haven't had there were years like I just didn't watch TV. I would just read ancient mystical texts because that's exciting for me.
I love it. I love it so much.
I do have 5 planets in Virgo in the 12th house.
Wow. I had no idea. So you have a stellium in your
My
12th
12th
house.
house.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Oh, so
do.
that's
And I'm a
so
9 life path.
interesting.
I'm a
Okay.
9 life
I'm a
path.
7.
I have I have 5 planets in the 12th house, including my south node. I was born on the dark of the moon right before a total solar eclipse in right before the equinox. So I am just not meant for I'm like all in my own world, and
You're
I'm
not
wrapping
meant
up
for
a
the
lot of karma.
basic earth package that a lot of people are signed up for.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like, I'm the same. I would like pump my lotion and look for symbols in the lotion and then write them down in a little journal and be like, what does this mean? What does that crane mean? And I remember like telling people when I slept, like, oh, like, don't you know, when you go to sleep and you don't know the lyrics to a song, but then you wake up and you know them, and they're like, no. And I was like, oh, okay, like we're doing different things here. I got it. Like I'm learning.
I'm glad you're living your calling. So, yeah, so like it is my, I've always been woo woo. So like, fi- and before I accepted life this way, like I had bad luck follow me everywhere, which is a total 12th house thing. It's like until I accepted my unique way of being. Oh, and I have Sun conjunct Uranus.
Ooh,
Until
spicy.
like oh yeah, I know, right? Pluto conjunct my sun and it's all there, like all the things. Like, I'm here to work on the shadow. So like until I accepted like that I am supernatural. Like until I accepted that things were not working out for me. It is as soon as I started coming out of the broom closet, that everything started lining up for me. And so that's really true for everybody, whether it's your broom closet or just like any closet that you're in, any version of your closet, even if it's just like not telling people that you're interested in life coaching or whatever it is. It can, when you are suppressing an expression, it leads to depression and you're not living nothing's going to flow.
No. And I think people think that money will fix that. Like, well, I'll be making a lot of money, so I'll buy my happiness. And
Yeah.
that's not how it works. So it's not how
No,
it
you
works at
need
all.
to be fulfilled and have the time and space to enjoy your life.
A beautiful message to end on. I'm like, oh, like I could talk to you for hours. Kari, please tell our audience where they can connect to you and where they can find you.
Oh, thank you so much. My name is spelled Kari Samuels. So that's where you can find me in most places. Facebook, it's like a long intuitive counselor Kari Samuels, I think, whatever. But like you can just go to karisamuels.com, and also YouTube or my podcast is my latest happy place. So those are my forecasts people find particularly valuable, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And the podcast is great, you guys.
Thanks.
I love it so much. I loved when you had the psychic twins on there.
Oh yeah, they're
I was
fun.
like, oh, they're so cool. I'll have to ask them on the show one day. I did a reading with them and they were amazing. So thank you for introducing them to me.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you liked them. And they were very when I had a reading with them too, and they were like, on your podcast, you need to show people the Bronx side of you. Because everybody thinks you're this like sweet, angelic person. And I'm like,
And just a sample, I know you guys have been listening and we haven't, we've kept it very clean, I guess, inadvertently. But like one of the first conversations I had with Kari, where she was coaching me, she was like, when I was an actor, my coach wrote on the board, fuckability. And I was like, for a second, I was like, did she say those words? Like, I can't, like, I didn't know she could say that. And then I was like, okay, we're getting into the really juicy stuff here. Yeah, Kari is
but
so
I
fun,
like to
so
drop
real.
the F-bomb. I
Who doesn't?
like to swear. It's very cathartic, and in these times, I don't know how you cannot. So
Yeah.
So that's the magic I leave you with. Please swear more and it will liberate your life more than you can possibly imagine.
I love it. I love it. Oh, okay. Well, that's been another wonderful episode of Spiritual Business Blueprint. Thank you guys for listening and enjoying our conversation. And we hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.